What's up guys, DJ back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Black Label Victory Strike sale or Awakened Power Goku sale, Black Label, BGS Black Label. So funnily enough, a lot of you guys actually messaged me on Instagram, Facebook and all that of this sale with pictures of, how it sold for $90,000 on PWCC. To be honest, I don't have an account with PWCC. I don't have account with Beckett, so I can't see as much information as I'd like to see. So some of the stuff that I'll talk about today, well, actually a lot of it is my opinion, and also it's what I've been hearing on the streets. And I hear a lot of people message me their thoughts and stuff. You feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below as well. What do you think about this sale? And I'm just going to share with you guys what I think about the sale and how it affects the Dremel Super TCG and moving forward, like the collectability and investability side of things. But yeah, let's get right into it with I think it was very surprising for a lot of people that this sale went through, and I think a lot of people aren't sure if this was an auction sale or it was just a private sale or just a sale. I think if it was an auction sale, I think there would have been a lot more talk about it. I think the number $90,000 is too round to be an auction sale. It sounds like it was sold at $90,000 exactly. Could be wrong, but like I said, I don't have an account with PWCC. When I clicked onto the link to try to look up, a bit more details about it, I couldn't really find anything. And with PWCC, they're one of the biggest auction houses or card kind of sales people. They've sold a lot of Pokemon, high-end cards, and they're saying that this is the most expensive Dremel Super card sold to date. And I think that could be true. $90,000 is a lot of money for a Dremel Super card, and I've seen Super cards sell, advertised for a very, very high price, but not sold. So this is the very first one that I sold for this high of a price. The ones that I'm talking about, that I'm thinking of, are trophy cards, like one of a kind. Like I think there's like 6 in the world, or I can't remember how many championships. There's Oceania and America, and I think there's like 4 or something like that. So there's some cards out there with, if you see plain silver or plain gold, if you look on eBay, look up trophy card Dragonball Super, you'll see them. I think they're like a different category, similar to how Pokemon trophy cards are different to the set cards. There are definitely a lot less of them out there, but the Victory Strike is a set card, okay? But this is a Black Label set card, and they're saying that this Black Label Victory Strike, there is only 2 in the world. And because I don't have an account with Beckett, because with PSA it's a little different. You can check the pot report whether you have an account or not or whatever like that. But every time I try to search pot report for Beckett, I just can't find it. And then it'll ask you to sign in, and I'm not a member. So there is word on the street, right, that count is not that accurate. Apparently there's 4 that people know of, but I'm hearing that a lot of the early Dragonball Super stuff that were graded at the very beginning wasn't added to the pot report for Beckett. And it's kind of hard to imagine something like that would happen because of how reputable Beckett is. And when you're doing those kind of things, you'd think you'd be recording every single one. I know they're dealing with a lot of backlog and all that stuff, but generally speaking, PSA would do it too. Like, a lot of people worry about these things because, that sale might have went through because there's only 2 in the world. Even if there was 4, right? Even if there was 4, I still think that's a good reason to buy it. There's only 4 of those cards black label in the world, right? If you transfer over to PSA 10, that's the best you can get, PSA 10. I think there's like 400 in the pot report. Now that sounds like a lot, but I don't think that number's going to grow, and I also don't think the black label numbers are going to grow either. Okay, and if they do grow, they're not going to grow by much. Tournament of Power boxes, you can find them. They're not super duper rare, but they are pretty pricey. They're ranging from 7 to 10K, depending where you are in the world. I'm in Australia. Okay, so Tournament of Power boxes, they don't fall off trees, and even if you do manage to buy one and you manage to open one, you have to make sure you pull that card, and if you don't pull that card, then you don't have it, right? So, and even if you do pull that card, it has to be in immaculate condition to grade a black label or even a PSA 10, and if that's not the case, then you're not going to get those grades. All right, and this set was lowly printed. The card itself was highly played. A lot of people used it in game time. Even if you had one or two or five and you used it during gameplay, chances are it's scratched up. Chances are it's not a black label. and to say, I think this sale might convince some people to regrade their PSA 10s to a black label, because if you look at the prices between a black label, which is apparently $90,000 now, that is the value that people are going to value it. They're going to look at PSA 10, okay, and be like, hey, PSA 10's only like $7,000, $10,000. There's listings for like 20K not selling, okay? So, people are going to automatically assume, well, 90,000 versus 10,000, might as well take the risk, crack the case open and send it to Beckett and try to get that black label to, maximize your money. For me personally, I think this is a lot of the reason why people sent me that information was because I have an Awakened Power, a Victory Strike, but it's PSA 10, it's not black label, and they're not the same, right? So a lot of people, half of the market or half the people think black labels are pointless, they're not worthy or whatever, or it's impossible to have a black label because there's no such thing as a perfect card. I mean, that's the idea of a black label, that the card is like perfect. There is no flaws with it at all. And I think technically speaking, there's always going to be something, but you got to put a label on it. So black label is the best of the best, and then you could probably say PSA 10 and pristine 10 for Beckett is the same. But I know there's a lot of PSA collectors out there that would not touch any Beckett, and vice versa. So it can get very conflicting. It's just funny seeing the values, all right? So if you're going to rank them, you go black label at the top, and then you go PSA 10 / Beckett 10 pristine. So there's a reason why there's 400 PSA 10s and there's only like 2 or 4 black labels. I don't know how many pristine 10s there are, but saying that, I haven't seen that many on the market or anything like that. And that's another thing to talk about with Dremel Super. With these high-end cards, there's a lot of silent collectors out there. They're not showing everything they've got. So if they're not showing everything they got, people don't know about it. People only think there's like 3, 4, 5 of these certain cards. And if you can't see the pot report, then it's hard to say, right? So hear that plane? But what I'm trying to get at, right, is $90,000. A lot of people are saying that is too much money. And my thoughts are, it kind of. But at the same time, when you think of that, like there's only 2 to 4. Let's just say there's 4 in the world, right? That's the most number I've heard of. Let's say there's 4 in the world. We don't know who those 4 people who have them, and if they're willing to sell that. And I've told a lot of people I'm not selling my Awakened Power or Victory Strike PSA 10 for a long time. I think the potential is just way too high. I think $90,000, yeah, I mean, it might sound high now, but like I said, those numbers probably aren't going to grow, right? Even for the PSA 10s, at 400, sounds like a lot, but I'm telling you now, I think there's more than 400 people in the world that would want that card. And it's a staple. It's the holy grail. It's the best card in the set, like the set game. And I know some people will have different opinions. It's kind of like Charizard, right? Where people love it or hate it. It is what it is. It's Ultra Instinct Goku. It's just the main guy, right? You can't get really better than that. I mean, sure, there's nice cards out there, and some people like artworks more than that, but that's not really the point, right? It's the one of the most playable cards, or the most playable cards out there. They say you put it down and you ultimately win straight away. So if you're a player, you probably like this card. And if years down the line, if you're young now, for example, and you were playing that with that card, it's similar, that nostalgia story where you used to play with that card a long time ago, and then now you want to get the cards that you got, that you had back in the day, and then you'd be looking for that card. I think a lot of people would, like, if you look up on Google, most popular card, most valuable card, most rare card on Google, a lot of the time that card pops up, Awaken Power. And that's not to say any other card is nowhere near it. The price tag of that is just like, there's no other card in Dremel Super that touches it in value, right? In card value. And everyone's opinions are different. There's people that like the SIGs more than the secret rares. That's fine too. My opinion is, though, right, I think $90,000 is solid. And you can argue with me. You can have your own opinion. But, we've seen cards. I've mentioned this before. Charizards sell for 500,000, 300,000. Okay, and I know they're more vintage, they're more rare, but they're more vintage, but more rare. I'm not sure about that, right? There's some Charizards, there's like 300 in the pot, right? This black label, that whoever bought it, I don't know who bought it. There's only 4 in the world. That number is probably not going to change. There's not many top boxes left. There's not many people who are willing to open those boxes, and if they did, there's no guarantee that Awaken Power is going to be in that box and in the same quality, right? So, it is, in that sense, it's a rare card to have in Black Label, okay? If you're a Black Label chaser, okay? And $90,000, if you compare it to just other things, it's chump change. I don't have that money, but there's $1 million cards out there. There's $2 million cards out there. There's $4 million cards. A lot of those are sport cards, but if you're looking at even another franchise that's popular, Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh. All right, Digimon's nowhere near any of these levels yet, but Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, they got high valued cards, right? Some reaching these $90,000 values, even more. Pokemon's got multiple cards that are over 100K. Okay, still sick, by the way. Ugh. But that's my thoughts. $90,000 is just the start, all right? Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised in years and years to come. All right? I wouldn't be surprised if that card is over 100K, 200K, or whatever it is, Collectability is strong these days, and people like rare items. And this is one of those items. Every year that passes by, there's less top boxes, there's less people opening, there's less people trying to, crack their cases to get a Black Label 10. If I crack my Awaken Power PSA 10 to try to get that, I think it's just too risky. And I wouldn't recommend it to anyone that wants to do it. I know it's very enticing, considering the price difference, okay? But I think in time, even though there's 400 of those, 400 PSA 10s out there, it's just it's just risky. Anyway, guys, I can barely talk anymore. We'll call it that. Let me know your thoughts. See you next time. Bye.